Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Dage, and I'll pass the thing down so they can get introduced.
Hey everyone, I am Grim, known as Grim, as you may know me. Grim, yep, that's me. This is really weird. Alright, and here's our friend.
I am Cookie. We've been playing games for a little while now, especially with Grim and Dage for like what? It'd almost be a year at this point.
No, we met in April.
In April, okay. So yeah, about like what? 8 months? About 8 months, yeah? I think so.
Because, April is the 4th month of the year, so 8 months. We've known each other 8 months.
8 months.
This is the second time we've met up.
That's insane. That's wild.
Just remember to speak into the mic.
Yeah.
So we've known each other for 8 months. Also, I'm just going to say now, the intro was shit.
Yeah, it was. It was dog awful.
Do we want to redo it?
No. It is what it is.
Okay.
It is what it is.
We've known each other for 8 months. We've been playing mainly Dead by Daylight. That's where... So I met Cookie. I'm Grim. I met Cookie. We were playing Dead by Daylight at about 3 a.m.
Closer to 4. I'm pretty
Closer to 4, yeah.
Probably.
And like, this guy's a vibe. We got each other like 3 times in a row. Like, we were both like, this guy's a vibe, so we added each other. Started a voice call over a week, and then 2 months later, we met up in Melbourne for the first time. And then, 6 months later, we're meeting up again.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm just the funny guy that like is just here for no reason.
Well, Dave...
I'm just bad. I'm bad at video games as well. I don't know why you hang out with me.
You're good at somebody again.
I'm not.
And you're funny.
I'm not.
He's really funny.
Apparently. I mean, can I say what we've been doing for the last... So we've been in Melbourne for 10 days now.
Roughly.
And half the time we've just been saying Among Us.
What are you talking
It's a
about?
problem.
What are you talking about?
Well, okay, it all started when Cookie started just saying it randomly, right? Do you remember at the start of the trip? Just no, I don't want to say.
So we got this funny little thing going on where we've only got one mic working. So every time someone wants to speak, we have to pass it around the group. Yeah, I did not start the Among Us.
Alright. Look, I got something to say. Alright. See, he started the Among Us, Cookie. And over the last few days, he's... so we've been rotating the bedrooms, right? And he's been in the master bedroom for the last few days. And me and Grim over here, we went to inspect his room because we saw a sticky note on the door that said, "No imposters allowed."
It was really weird. It was really weird.
Super weird. We were like freaked out. It was like 2 days ago.
Dude, it was crazy.
It was
I almost
crazy.
puked.
We went inside and how many sticky notes do you think there were?
Bro, there was like 20 at least. Probably closer to 30.
Probably like 30 to 40 sticky notes just saying like Among Us and sus, a bunch of different things. I'll put up some images now, maybe. For the viewers. But yeah, Cookie is just insane. He really likes Among Us.
It was really weird. I genuinely was about to puke.
Yeah. I was so insane. Like, I was so scared that he was the imposter as well.
So I'm trying to remember what probably happened from my perspective of things. I'm pretty sure, I think it was in the morning, and I was in the shower.
Mentally ill POV.
So I had a shower, and like I got dry and everything, and I come out of my shower and head into my room, and there's just notes everywhere. No, I went to get food. That's it.
Yeah, you went to get food.
I went to get food for you guys,
Yeah.
and some for myself. Then I come back and I go up into my bedroom, and there's just sticky notes just everywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't see it at first because I thought like I dropped something because the room was dark. It was nighttime. I thought I dropped something because I looked down at the floor and there's a couple of things on the floor.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll clean it up later. And then I reached to turn the fan on, and there's a note on the fan, on like the handle where you turn the fan on. So it was just, they were everywhere. It was insane.
Oh my god.
So, like, do you not remember putting them up at all?
It wasn't me.
It clearly was.
Mentally ill POV.
Yeah, this guy is mentally ill. But yeah, we got him here to sit down for an hour with us, so that's good.
It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be crazy.
So, alright, I'm gonna talk about a few of the things we did this week. You know, you can let go of it. All right, for the
He's like holding hands.
for the listener, he just held onto the microphone with a death grip. All right. So some of the things we did this week that I want to talk about mainly is we've been doing drugs. I'm gonna puke.
That's a sus moment.
You're crazy. Bro, the listeners are so confused right now. So, main things we did this week that I want to talk about today is drugs. We did them last time we were in Melbourne. We just called it tobacco. This time, I think we should just be blunt about it.
You smoked blunts, guys.
Dude, I remember that. I remember tasting your saliva and like licking it up.
What?
Anyways,
Is that what you're doing? That one time you walked out of the room with the blunt for like 5 minutes. Is that what you were doing?
no, I was just. Anyways, so we smoked some blunts, right? We have a bong. Well, we had. You want to tell us about that?
Oh, Jesus. Okay. It's my own bong, so it's okay that it's broken. And we just ran out of weed anyway, so it's lucky timing, if anything. But we got the bong sitting on the table, and it was like the dining table or whatever, and there's a fan, but the fan requires a remote. So we just had the remote sitting on the table, and I see you guys shaking heads to yourself, whispering.
Don't worry about it.
So the fan was just I turned the fan off. I go to put the remote back down, and it was really dark. So I ended up accidentally just smacking the bong with the remote, and it just shattered. So it's just unlucky.
That is so unlucky.
It's a quick cleanup, luckily. But that sucks. I guess it was pretty much due time to get a new one anyway.
There was a lot of emotional damage that, like, it's irreparable. What happened?
It's irreparable.
It's irreparable.
It sucks. Dude, when that happened, I almost had a mental breakdown. Like, dude, it was so much for me. Too much.
It was it was very surprising. I think we were all, like, genuinely, I was kind of upset, but we didn't have any left. But
Yeah, it wasn't like a deal breaker or anything. It's not like we can.
I hate you now.
Well, okay. First of all, we could have gotten a new one if we really needed one. They're not that hard to get compared to other like actual drugs, obviously. Right? Who would have thought?
Imagine.
So we could have got one, but we literally had like nothing to smoke out of it anyway. By the time it broke.
Yeah.
So you're lucky you did it at the end. Like,
at the
when you
end.
did.
Yeah.
It's just like a keepsake. Like, there's gonna be a really weird comparison, but getting a new car, because like you've had one car, you've got all the memories with it and stuff, but and getting a new one's like, unfortunate.
Mm.
In if you like your old car, that is. But it's like that for the bong.
Exactly. Like I'm on my second bong now. My first one I broke, and like I remember when I got the new one, I was like, damn, I missed the old one. But the new one's cooler. Right? You got to up the game every time, so you're gonna get a huge one now. Right? Yeah.
I know it's your bong, but I'm definitely gonna be like that because that was the first time I smoked weed. That one that you broke.
It was a good bong. Like the one I first smoked out of. Well, the first time I smoked weed was out of like a pipe, a shitty tobacco pipe. Yeah. I have videos of it if you want to see it after.
My first time smoking weed was in one of the Gatorade bongs.
Oh.
So like you get like an old Gatorade bottle. It's like this is emptied. You burn a hole into both sides, like opposite sides of it. Then you stick like a hose pipe into one, and then that would act as like the tube, yeah. And then you would put the cone piece into the tube, and then you would you'd use your thumb on the opposite hole, and then you'd suck in through the bottle at the top, and that was a little homemade Gatorade bong that I just described to the viewers how to make. No, I didn't make it. No, my friend did.
I know I really should be talking to the mic, but fuck it, honestly. It's so annoying. Honestly, you could just hold it and point it if you want.
I'll be the holding boy.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like a news interviewer. You're gonna every time you have to try and back and forth.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Among Us.
Okay, alright.
How'd you get it in there?
It was annoying, like watching. It was really weird watching Cookie speak And then Dage starts speaking, and I'm like,
You just death stare me. You just death stare me. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking?
yeah. We got a little off track, so I'll move us back. So we did drugs, we did blunt, we did a bong. We made edibles. We made edibles last time, but it was really scuffed. We talk about it on the.
Can I talk about the edibles real quick?
Yeah.
All right. So I made last time. If you look back onto the previous podcast, which should be out by now.
It's over there.
That way. It's off there.
That way.
If you're viewing on youtube.com/.
Dude, it could be up there.
It'll probably be like right above me.
Look.
Right here.
You know what? I'm gonna hold it.
You know what?
I'm holding it right
I think these guys are insane. They're not holding anything.
He's gonna edit it, and it's gonna be above him.
I think it's gonna be right here.
That would be cool. Okay, it's unrelated. I'll leave for after the podcast.
Okay. As I was gonna say, the brownies we made it last time. You can check out the podcast, and I talk about it then. They were terrible. Like terrible. I don't think they worked at all.
Did you take photos of them?
This time?
No, of last time.
No.
That would have been really good if we did that.
What, of the block?
Yeah,
it
basically.
was a brick. It was a brick.
It was a cinder block. It wasn't just a brick. It was a cinder block.
Yeah. It was insane.
It had this really weird consistency of being like rock hard on the outside, and then on the inside it was wet and moist. It was awful.
Yeah, it was terrible. This time I made brownies. We made normal and weed brownies. We used like half of the weed we have, we didn't have a lot to begin with, and I would say we wasted half of it. We probably shouldn't have made them. But anyway.
I honestly I had the most intense trip on it. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely worth it. But if we're gonna do it again, we need more.
Was it worth 5 grams of weed?
Honestly, yes. For me personally, because I experienced it. I don't know about you guys. Did you really feel anything?
It's sort of the one day that it really did anything was when I ate like 3 pieces, and it was just it tasted really strong, so that made it like a lot harder to sit through and just eat the pieces because it just wasn't nice. So yeah, for me really it only did like a little bit, and then I just ended up smoky anyway, so it sort of just helped to boost it if anything.
So you wouldn't say it was worth it?
I feel like maybe if they weren't so like they were really crunchy, if it was like an actual brownie, maybe.
So if it was yum, you'd be like, yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, sure. If it didn't taste so strong.
Yeah, that was definitely the most unfortunate thing about the edibles, that I had 6 on the last day. I had probably like half of the brownies all on the last day.
It was probably like 15 to 20 pieces that we made, and you had like 6 and all.
I had 6, and then I had another 2 a few days earlier, so I had 8 in total.
You had the most.
Yes. For the high I got, it was okay, I guess, trying to push through it. They were not made bad, it's just because of how much weed and butter and stuff we had. So they were thin, they got burnt, and they were crunchy. It sucked, but I ate them, I got through it all. It was awful, I had to like drink wine. We'll just call it wine. I had to drink some wine to get through it. I ate them when I got up. I had a blunt with the boys, and I was high the entire day, and I went to sleep high. I was still very dizzy when
That's insane.
It was a very weird trip because smoking a bong and stuff like it's like I feel it's a dizzy high. Like I feel
Because it all just hits at once. It makes you spin with the bong.
yeah, exactly. Like, and then with the edibles, they slowly hit in because I had 6 over like half an hour, and as the half an hour went on, they would slowly kick in each one at a time. So it was like slowly going up, like levels, I guess.
Yeah, because your body slowly digests it, and it's a slow increase of the drug.
Yeah, it was the same but a different high. Like I was feeling the same way, but I felt like I could actually think. Like I didn't feel dumb or my mind wasn't fuzzy. It was definitely weird, but it was nice. If we're gonna do it again, we should need to make actual good brownies because it would be so much better if they were edible.
Okay, if we did it again, I have a few ways that we could fix it.
I want to take rotation out.
What, you're gonna take rotation?
Yeah, of the mic.
Oh, okay. Well, with the brownies, so what I did is we made the butter, right? The can of butter. And then I put all of that into one batch. What I could have done is added more butter or like a 50-50 ratio so it's not as strong. But then that also makes the brownies weaker. Yeah. I didn't want to do that, so I didn't do it. But that's what makes them dry, because there's like no butter. It's like melted butter, burnt butter.
I think the amount you put in was right. They just tasted bad. Like, in the future, don't go for the weaker stuff if it's going to taste better, in my opinion. Just because for the better high. Like,
Yeah.
you'll just have to eat stuff with it if, like, you guys really hate the taste.
I think maybe not making brownies would be a good choice as well.
What else could we make?
We could make sandwiches.
I reckon we'd still have weed if we didn't try and make brownies.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, we use like 5 to 7 grams worth.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like, if we just next time we'll have to bring more. Like,
I personally think next time we just shouldn't make them.
It depends how much we have. Like when the trip starts, I guess. Like if
Like,
we have
unless
it
we
to
somehow have like 20 grams,
yeah.
then we could.
If we have it to spare, we do it. If we don't, then we just take the funny glass.
Yeah, because the recommended amount of weed to put in was what we had at the start.
Yeah, so we used half.
So we used half, and we got some use out of it, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
It just boosted it way more than the last time.
For my 4 or 5 years of smoking weed, I've sort of done it in a lot of different ways. Like, I started in the bottle bongs, and then I went to glass bongs, and then I did blunts, and then the edibles. That's like my line of usage, you'd say, I guess. It's my personal favorite is probably blunts. I can't roll for shit though, so like I've been trying for like a year and I just cannot figure it out.
Do you want to tell them what you've been doing?
Yeah, so what I've mostly been doing for blunts, which isn't really the best way to do it, but it works. So I've been doing it. Is you kind of like you get a cigarette and you sort of just roll the tobacco out. It's like you sort of just put the cigarette between your fingers at the bottom, the opposite end of the filter. You sort of just roll back and forth, and it sort of just like sprinkles the tobacco out. And you sort of do that all the way up, and then you would just tip the weed in. I get like scissors or like something thin. I can just sort of like pack it back down, and then I put more weed in. And I just keep doing that until I feel like it's full enough, and then I also like twist the end off so it doesn't just spill out or whatever. And use like that, and that works really well. And then yeah, so sort of you can mix in tobacco too, sort of make it as strong as you want. Yeah, I think I lost my train of thought. So I think I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So
I don't know if for some reason I want to talk about my weed journey now.
sure, go for it.
I started with a shitty tobacco pipe. Do you know what that is?
Yes, it's
Okay.
the thing they use in cartoons.
Do you know what the difference is between like a weed pipe and a tobacco pipe?
No clue.
Do you know?
It would have like the hole on the weed pipe. Yeah.
Yeah, so the weed pipe has a hole like a bong. Wow, right? Crazy. Anyway. Thank you guys. Yeah, so I started with a crazy tobacco pipe. I'll show you guys a video after of me hitting it. I started with that. Terrible. Because like it's so hard to draw in through the smoke in it. It's terrible. Went through that and then just hitting. And then I got a bong. I think. I do not remember what I did. But I got a bong and then got a pipe. I got the weed pipe finally. That was so much better than the tobacco one. I'm not gonna lie. But it also sucks because you inhale the ash.
Yeah, that's a big issue I had with bongs where I wouldn't clean it out properly because I'd always do it in the middle of the night while mum and dad are sleeping. And so I'd go down in the shed in the backyard. I'd fill it with some water in the tap that's in the shed.
Oh my god.
Not just garden water, no. There's a tap in the shed. There's like a sink and stuff.
Yeah, you just like it's so far out of the way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's down in the backyard, just to sort of like, because I cough, so I don't wake anyone up. And yeah, but a big issue was that I wasn't like cleaning it out properly. So for a little while, until I realized what I was doing wrong, every time I would light up, every single time I would hit the bong. At the very end, a bit of ash would come up and hit the back of my throat. Ooh. And trying to breathe out while you've got something in your throat, it just makes you want to throw up. And so many times I'd either go into a massive coughing fit. A couple times I threw up and it's just foul. I would keep I started like keeping like a a drink next to me every time I did it, because like, there's a fridge as well. So I just grab a can of Coke or something, and then I'd hit the bong and then take a drink so that it would sort of wash it down.
How many times did you throw up?
I don't know. This is over the course of like between the first trip and this trip. It's like 4 months. How long has it been?
July to December.
July to December is like 6 months.
4 months.
4 months, yes, yeah, I was right. And so, yeah, so throughout those like 4 or 5 months, doing it maybe 2 to 4 times every week. I'd say maybe once every week. So it'd be like, what, nearly 20 times? Which is...
Wow.
Which I wouldn't throw up into the bong, to be clear.
I would.
I have several questions. How were you doing it wrong?
Well, clearly.
Why were you throwing up?
He was just said he wasn't cleaning it.
Yeah, because I wouldn't clean it. Like I wouldn't clean out the cone piece, so there'd be like ash and stuff in the cone piece still. So I'd sort of like smack it and stuff, but sometimes it gets gunky and you sort of like scrape it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that for a while because I just didn't realize I was supposed to. And so, yeah, so that gunk would kind of get stuck in the bottom, and after you smoke through all the ash, it's sort of like pulling that down, and so it would go down, and then like as you're breathing in the last bits of smoke, it would come up, and and it was sort of like it like sort of smack the back of your throat, and it would feel like it gets stuck there, and so it's just really gross sensation. It just makes you want to throw up. It's just not nice.
Never had that with smoking.
To be fair, every time you cough or even throwing up while getting high, it enhances it a shit ton. Because it's sort of like your body's trying to push it out, so it all goes through really quick. So it hits you hard as hell, but it feels so gross.
I'm glad I don't puke when I do drugs.
This guy, man, he's bad. Yeah, it's insane. Out of all my years of using bongs, which is 1 year, never had that. But I'm just good. So, and it also I guess helps because you're kind of doing it in secret, and I'm not. Like I can just clean my bong with my parents in the kitchen while they're making roast dinner.
That's pretty cool.
I've never done that, but I probably could.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say now, but what I do remember, I had 2 things I was gonna say. The first thing I was gonna say was my friend. Oh, excuse me. My friend that sort of like got me into smoking and stuff. I still hang out with him and smoke with him regularly. Because he's my friend since kindergarten. So it's pretty sick. So like, it'd be like 10 years by now, honestly. Actually be longer, it'd be like 15. You go into kindergarten when you're like 4 or something. And I'm 19 now, so I'm hanging out with this guy since like 15 years now. Yeah, it's a pretty good time. It's a kindergarten 10 years ago, yeah. I'm actually like 15. I've been like 15 this whole time. Yeah, but I was hanging out with him a little while ago, like about a month, and he was having a smoke, and he has this coughing fit after because it's good. It was good shit. And he goes, "That's how you know it's good. Is when you cough after." I'm like, yeah, that's right.
That's true.
So you guys have both talked about your experiences, your journey with weed. It's time I talk about mine.
What about your own?
Yeah, mine has been I've been very new to drugs and stuff. And it's been good. It's been a good ride for the most part. 4 months ago, well, 4.5, I'd say, closer to. I tried weed for the first time with... Thank you. I tried weed for the first time with good friend Cookie and good friend Dage. He did a tutorial. We have a video of him doing a tutorial for me.
Yeah, we cannot post because it is not legal.
Yeah, we're not posting.
We can maybe post it on like Patreon or something.
Yeah,
We could post it on Patreon.
That makes sense.
All right,
We could do that.
$5 and you can see us breaking the law.
Yeah.
Unblurred, uncensored faces.
Uncensored.
Full face reveal.
I mean, if they're paying money, like, I'll take it.
Okay, sure.
You can make it like a premium sub thing where it's like $70.
$5 is censored. $30 is uncensored.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Anyways, back to the story. So first time I did a bong with Dage. My very first experience with drugs was like 3 hits of a bong with.
You had like
It was
triple
3 or
the
2.
amount I had, probably.
Yeah.
And I was fucked.
Yeah, the story about that. I had 3 hits. They were decently packed, I'd say. I don't really remember, but I know I had a lot.
That'd be probably just over half of what I would normally have, so they're pretty packed.
I felt nothing because I'm a god. And then funny man here had a heart attack. Do you want to talk about this?
We talked about it on the last podcast, so I'm not going to bring it up now.
I have a question now, though. I have a question. I can talk about it more in depth. Yeah, I got a question for you now, Dave. How much did you have on your first time?
Smoking?
Yeah, like your first time doing weed. How much did you have?
I think the first time I was at a party and I got like 5 grams between me and my friend, right? And I smoked my whole half that night, and I felt nothing.
Damn.
Like I felt like if I had like less than half of that cone of what the bong, I would feel more than what I felt back then. And I was like 2.5 grams in one night, just constantly in it because I was like, I need to feel something, and I wasn't.
I think it was the same with me. And this is my really dumb biology theory.
I also have a theory.
Because since your body hasn't, I guess, experienced it before, it probably thinks it's dangerous. So it tries its best to make sure you don't feel anything, or it tries to get it all out as efficiently as possible, or whatever. I don't know. I might be very wrong.
Theory?
Yes.
My theory is it's your lungs, right? So you breathe in, right? And you're used to breathing in oxygen and nitrogen or whatever, and you don't take in the nitrogen, right? You exhale that.
Nitrogen, but
What isn't oxygen and what's the other one?
carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, right? You breathe out carbon dioxide, not nitrogen. You breathe out carbon dioxide, right?
If you breathe out nitrogen, you're gonna be rich. I
Yeah.
don't know how much you can sell nitrogen for though, actually. So I don't know.
Maybe a lot if you're breathing it out,
True.
because you'd have a lot. Anyway, anyway, so you breathe in oxygen and you breathe out carbon dioxide, right? And your lungs filter that.
Yeah.
My theory is when you first smoke weed, it enters your lungs are like, this isn't oxygen. And it doesn't accept any of it, right?
Yeah.
But the more you smoke, your lungs are like, oh, this is
It's not that bad.
it's not that bad, and so it accepts it. That's my theory. So like right now, I've smoked for like a year and a half. I can barely smoke anything, and it'll affect me.
I'm definitely close to the same, except I've been doing a mistake where I get the cone piece, I pack it, I push it down, and I put more in. That's been every kid.
You're like max packing it every time.
And I get like so fucked up afterwards. And I'm like, why do you guys feel nothing? I have a thing with my lungs. And I thought that was it. But then you guys told me like, oh, we're going to pack this for you. And there's like one little piece of green in it. I'm like, what is this? And you're like, this is what we do. I'm like, oh my God.
So something I realized with Grim here as well is the other day he packed his, he hits it, and I go to tap the cone on the table to like knock the ash out, but it's not coming out. So I'm like, oh, there must be some stuck in. So I go to have a hit. I get a full 2 more hits, 3 hits in one cone. You pack yours overly much and don't even realize.
I don't even finish it.
Yeah, don't even finish it.
Dude, it's because
why,
it's so
man.
strong. And like I handed it over to you. Like,
putting like a whole gram.
I didn't know. I honestly didn't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so with my first experience, I think I was like, I don't think I was 13, but I was either like 14 or 15, somewhere in like the lower high school years, during my first time, and we went to my friend's caravan. His dad had a house, and then he had like a caravan. He had like all the wires hooked up so he could watch TV and shit in his caravan. He could play games on the internet and all that, like an Ethernet cable. So anyway, we're in his caravan with hotboxing the shit because of course you would. And the whole night from like probably like 6 p.m. to like 4 a.m, just cone after cone back and forth. Probably went through like 10 grams in one night. And that was my first time doing it. We just kept going back and forth. He would get me fucked up. It's insane. Holy shit. He said, I'd have a hit. I'd be like, oh, holy shit, I'm done. I'd sit back, he'd pack his, he'd do his hit. He'd kind of sit back for a bit, and then he'd be like, all right, your turn again. I was like, like 14, I'm not going to give up. You kidding me?
Yeah, you're not a pussy.
I'm not a pussy. I can't say no to a challenge. So I'd take another hit. He'd take another hit. I'd take another hit. Just back and forth constantly. And he would always push me to do more. I'd be like, oh, I think I'm done. I am out of it. And he'd like, just one more. You can do one more. And I'm high I'm like, all right, sure, I can do one more. So that was it. That was my first experience.
It's the can't finish on a loss mentality for me.
Yeah, it's like, all right, guys, I gotta go to bed. We can't finish on a loss.
Yeah, we can't finish on an L. But come on, Cookie. Come on, stay up for another 3 hours. I know you have work in 7. But, you know, come on.
us 3 hours to win. Like anything.
Yeah, and then our luck, we just lose every game until he has work.
Yeah, happens every night.
Yeah. So, yeah, first 4.5 months ago, I hit a bong for the first time. Then I tried, like, an edible that was really... I didn't feel anything from it.
Yeah, no, those edibles suck.
So, pretty much, first experience was hitting a bong with you guys 4 months ago. This trip, we did 3 extra things, right? So, obviously, we're hitting the bong. That was really good. Then, we had blunts that you rolled up, and they were very nice. I liked them. Then we did edibles properly this time, well, more properly.
Yeah.
I guess. I definitely felt it, and we definitely ate it this
You
time.
probably had the most effect.
Dude,
100%.
like I said, I was high for at least 12 hours.
That's insane.
I probably, if I woke up 5 hours after falling asleep, I probably would have been high still.
Wow.
Like, I was really dizzy. And then the fourth and final, which I really want to talk... I'm really excited to talk about this. We tried mushrooms. Me and Dage tried mushrooms for the first time.
It was insane. Now, I just want to say, before we get into that, with the edibles, I was going to... Oh, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say.
I'll say...
Mid-sentence.
No,
I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then you just think about what you were going to say, okay? Alright.
We need to...
So, with the mushrooms, Dage and I tried our own half each. It was a really big half, so we definitely felt it.
Okay.
He was going to have his own mushroom, like a full one to himself. It was smaller, but I'd say it was about the same size as ours. He really didn't like the taste, so he spat it out. Unfortunately, it was into the sink. So, L, because he got it.
Yeah. So I really don't like mushrooms, like normally. But I was like, surely I can, like, you know, push through that normal disgust that I have to like, you know, to get high. But I really couldn't. I was sitting there chewing, and every time I would chew, I would, like, inhale the flavor, and I just could not. I tried to, like, eat bread to mix in with it, but I just couldn't. My stomach was not having it, so I had to spit it out. I was going to throw it up.
Fair enough. I mean, now you know for next time, and like, you didn't lose money on it or anything.
I'm the one that, like, you know, bought them anyway. So if anyone was going to throw them up, it's lucky it was me.
Yeah. Because you probably would have been a lot more annoyed if it was Dage or I, I'm assuming, or if it was the weed that we've, like, fucked up.
I mean, I wouldn't really cared.
Fair enough.
Even if you, like, smacked the bong, if one of you guys broke that, I wouldn't have. Like, they're like $45. I could have just bought a new one.
I feel like whoever breaks it should buy it, but yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say one more thing. I also found the mushrooms disgusting. Like, I almost threw up, like, when I was sitting there eating it. And I was like, damn, I really need to stick this out. Because you were doing it. I was like, if I pussy out or do anything. That's why I swallowed it quickly than you did.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'm swallowing this as soon as we did. Yeah.
That's interesting, because I didn't find it that bad. I eat mushrooms, like, just the normal ones. I like them. They're really nice. I have it as a snack sometimes.
This guy.
Is that weird?
Fuck, yeah.
Really? Wait, you have them as a
mushroom?
snack?
Not the drug.
That is
not
foul.
the drug, but like the white ones that you can get from the
You just
supermarket.
eat them plain.
That is foul.
I used to.
That is foul.
It's yum.
That is not.
It is yum. So I think that has built up like a immunity to the taste, the soily taste. So I didn't really taste anything.
Yeah. Also, you said it had like the texture of beef jerky, right?
It kind of did. It kind of did.
I just want to bring... Remember when I bought beef jerky? Yeah, I threw that up because I couldn't handle the texture. And I didn't eat any of it. Do you not remember this?
I didn't know you threw it up.
Well, I didn't throw up, but I had to like get it out of my mouth.
Okay.
Anyway, we should restart the recording. So
Go for it. Here you go.
Alright, so yeah, mushrooms. We're going to talk about what we experienced now?
Yes. So the way this segment will probably...
Are you gonna clap test or are you gonna go?
There you go.
Okay, so the way this part will probably work is, since it was only Dage and I who really got to experience it, we'll probably talk the most. Cookie will ask questions, or he'll have things to say and stuff like about what we were saying, because we were saying some really weird shit.
Yeah, we were. I also want to see your perspective as well. I want to hear that after we talk about it though.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna speak to you guys like an interviewer. How'd you feel when you first started it? Like, you're sitting there eating it. Explain the first 10 minutes, like as you're chewing, and then as it sort of starts to first kind of seep in, I guess is the word.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, I remember eating it. Eating it. It was terrible. It tasted disgusting. And we came down, sat here. I don't remember what we had on the TV, but probably playing something, watching something. I don't think I wasn't playing anything. So yeah, I was sitting there on that couch, laying down, and I was like, "Damn, this is chill, right? What are you guys doing?"
Don't worry about it.
Okay. So I was sitting there, and like I could start to feel it in my stomach, like something, and I just kept wanting to look at you to like know what you were feeling, just constantly at the start. I was like, waiting for it to kick in, like the anticipation, and then it didn't like snap. I was like, oh, I'm high now. It was kind of just like the stomach feeling turned into like euphoria, I guess. It's like really nice, and just like uplifted and really happy, and I guess everything felt really fast, but like not at the time.
I think that can kind of be like that when you're stoned as well. Like I find through like my 6 month period where I didn't do bongs at all, I did blunts. I found that it's a different high, because when you hit a bong, it sort of hits you all at once, and you sort of like kind of spin. But with the blunts, it sort of takes like half an hour to kind of build up to that proper high, and throughout that first like 20 minutes, you sort of notice little things, like you kind of get lightheaded. I noticed a lot when I get high, I can feel my mouth, like I can feel everything individually. I can tell where my tongue is, I can like tell where my teeth are. And so that's sort of like that gut feeling that turned into euphoria. It's kind of like that feeling of like when you feel your mouth, and then that travels to like everything feeling like it's different.
I know what you mean. I definitely felt that with the edibles and the blunt, because I had both of those. But yeah, I know what you mean. Answering your question though about like the first 10 minutes, just got through the mushroom. Really, like there was a not very good taste. It wasn't the worst thing I've tasted in the world, surprisingly, but I got through it. I chewed it. Water.
Why is that just sitting there?
It's been there for like 2 days.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, listeners. Yeah, so I just got through it. I didn't really feel anything for like 25 minutes, and I was questioning if I was even gonna feel anything. I was kind of upset because I've always wanted to take hallucinogens or psychedelics and stuff, because I think that stuff is so interesting to me. Like just drugs in general, things that change the way you perceive reality. I find that stuff so interesting.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
I would like to try more drugs and stuff, but not like heroin or crack or meth or things that'll get me like hooked up, you know. But
Smart.
just things that change reality or make you think a different way, I would love to experience. But didn't feel anything for 20 minutes, and then I slowly felt it like ramping up, like I had smoked weed, and then I was seeing visuals and stuff. I have notes that I can get for when you want to experience.
While you get the notes up, I'm gonna, because I didn't see anything for ages on them, and like the first probably like hour, I guess, I remember time felt really weird, because we were sitting there talking about, like we kept checking the time. It felt like every minute or two, and like sometimes 30 minutes had passed, sometimes like an hour or whatever night, and we were just sitting there talking. I guess I'll say what we talked about soon, but are you ready to talk?
I was gonna pass it back.
Okay.
Cookie.
Get the sense of that now. Am I asking another question?
Go for it.
Okay. I was trying to think of one just then.
If not, I can read my notes.
I mean, I got one. I want to say, what do you reckon was like the, how would you phrase it? Like the hardest hitting part? Like what was the one part you kind of remember the most that you thought was the weirdest?
Weirdest. Do you want to answer this one first? Because I think I need to think about this.
Okay, I have an answer for this, but like it was later on in the trip, and I was gonna wait till we get there, but I guess we can talk about it now. So we were sitting there, we were high on the couch, chilling for, how long do you think we were there for? Talking.
Us talking. It was at least 3 hours.
For like a solid, like at least 2 hours.
It was like 2 to 3 hours probably. Yeah. And then at that point, I think you started to feel it come down, right? And then I was like, sure. And I like for like the last like hour of the talking, I was just in the back of my mind, I was like, I really want to hit the bong right now.
You wanted to extend the experience.
Yeah, I wanted to see stuff because I've done LSD before and I didn't see anything on that because I took a low dosage. And I hadn't seen anything on this. So I was like, damn, I really want to see something. We probably could have put something on the TV. Maybe that would have helped. Fuck you.
Oh shit.
Picking up fine.
Are you sure it's not picking up this way?
Yes. Look.
Okay, I was just double checking.
Look, it's fine. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought now, guys. You suck at this. So I was constantly thinking about hitting the bong, and I wanted to see stuff because I've done LSD, didn't see anything. And I remember doing LSD, I was like, damn, I'm not seeing anything because I was with people that were seeing stuff, and I felt left out. Like I remember sitting there on LSD watching like visuals and stuff. The guy next to me was like, "Holy fuck, this is insane!" I was sitting there like, "This is just a normal like. Why are you tripping out so much?" Go on.
I think that might be the same reason your body first rejects weed. That might be it. I don't know if the others had tried it before, but that might be the reason.
No, well, the main reason with LSD, I took 100 milligrams on the tab, 100 tab, and the others took 150. Now, roughly 150 is where you start seeing visuals. So the high for me at 100 was mainly just, best way to describe it for me was getting high on weed, like really, really high. But then like you get like fogginess, right, with weed. Mm-hmm. That's gone.
Okay.
So you're fully present, really high on weed, and then it's this constant like thought loops and like loops, which we kind of had on mushrooms with the talking.
Yeah.
But not as insane as LSD was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we hit the bong. We went up, kind of hotboxed one of the bedrooms.
Yeah.
I
say we hotboxed it pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty standard.
I probably had way too much. I had like 2 cones.
Dude,
worth.
yeah, that's.
You had 1 and you were fucked, and I had 2.
I had 1, but mine was packed pretty. I don't know. You did it. Alex.
Yeah, I said like a normal. Yeah, I said like a normal pack.
Yeah. I did like 2 pretty good packs, I think, and then we'll sit in the room and smoke. And that fucked me up. So there's 2 things I remember. The main thing was as soon as I hit it and you were taking your hit, I was sitting there just being like, this isn't real. Like really, like kind of the same thinking I was going through when I like greened out last time. So I was feeling like that for a bit. And then once we came down and chilled out, we watched Germa, and Germa really got to me. Now we talked about this like yesterday. I remember seeing like Germa's face like morph and like a bunch of face filters on. I thought it was just part of the video. The whole time I was like, what the fuck? You probably like heard me laughing at it when we were on it. But yeah, apparently that was no face filters or anything. And I really want to go back and watch it because it was so weird. Like seeing Germa's like face just turn into some wacky shit. It was insane. So they're the things I remember mainly.
What? Wow. You went off. You did a good like speech there. I wouldn't call that a speech. Did, yeah. But your question was what hit the hardest, like in the whole trip before the bong. Would you before the bong? Either. Dave, you said it once you hit. Like reality didn't feel real anymore. Like I don't want to say I had an out of body experience, but I was not thinking in first person anymore. I was thinking.
I would classify that as a out of body experience.
Well, okay, well,
not to the level of like seeing like gods or something, or like seeing like I don't know. You can see some crazy shit.
I'll tell my experience in chronological order.
Go for it.
So for the first half, which was before the hit, I was writing down notes because I wanted to record. I really wanted to record. I did record some stuff, but it was not like when we were very high.
We can maybe. Will that ever make it into anything?
We could put it over now if we really wanted.
If we really want to, or Patreon.
Patreon, yeah. So this is all in order of what I was feeling and maybe thinking. Because I did write some thoughts down, but I don't know if I'll read it. I was feeling the muscles in my body and my face tighten and stretch. So, you know how flesh is, where it's like hundreds of strands, kind of? Do you know what I mean? Do you know? Right, there's like, in your face, there's strands and muscles that like pull and push and contort so you can make facial expressions and stuff. It's like I could feel every strand of flesh in my face and then slowly that would go down my arms. It stopped at my arms, thankfully, but I could feel my whole
You
body.
couldn't feel your cock.
Actually, I could not feel my penis at all. Like when I was high, my dick and balls felt like detached from my body. It was really
The
weird.
whole time?
That's insane.
Pretty much, like, as men, I'm sure sometimes the position can be a little uncomfortable, right? Can you agree?
No.
Small penis.
Yeah. You can't just, like, sit on your knees with your legs closed. That shit hurts. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, no, sit on your knees.
Yeah.
Like, you're kneeling and you close your legs. That shit hurts.
So yeah, sometimes your dick and balls get uncomfortable as a man. Small penis.
Okay, look, I just have a good dick and balls. I don't know what these guys are talking about.
He has a small penis.
I do not have a small penis.
He has a small penis. Second note, I keep second guessing if I'm high, and then I can feel it get more intense. Do you get that? Like you think about it, and then it hits you.
Okay, I can kind of get the feeling of not being high. It never like fully hit for me. I remember half the time, like before we smoked, I was sitting there. I was like, I don't even know if I'm high anymore. I'm just here, like just chilling, like having the time of my life. Like it was like peak. It was like what we normally do in a Discord call, just talking, because we talk for hours on end about the dumbest random shit till like 6 a.m. Right? It was just that, but like so heightened on a next level of like intense and like quickness and fastness. And I remember when we're getting off, time felt really slow. Like I was sitting there so bored. And then I went to bed.
Yeah, I felt time was really weird. You said I'll get to that later though. Back to the notes.
Back to the notes.
My upper body is tingling and war. WAR. I don't know what I was trying to write.
What? And war?
And my upper body is tingling and war.
Probably warm.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Oh yeah,
Like,
warm. The lights are so bright. I remember saying that like the lights were lasers to my eyes. They
I do
were
remember you
so
saying that.
bright, dude. It was awful. My arms feel light and tired. So does my neck. I want to lie back. My body feels weird, and as time moves, and that's where it ends. My neck and hands and arms feel so weird and light and easy to move, but moving my head kind of makes me feel sick. So, like, there was no gravity with my arms and stuff. That was really strange. I had this really weird feeling where my head was like a magnet, and there was a magnet above me that was trying to pull it off.
That is weird.
This was like
That's
when the
weird.
high was getting the most intense. So, like to answer your question now, finally, just my body parts feeling like they have no gravity or they're being pulled away or stretching. Because after I hit the bong, the whole world was like contorting. I could see my arms and shit stretching around, and I could feel it as if my arms were actually being stretched. It was really
I remember you
weird.
talking about that, like the stretching of your arms.
Yeah, I'll get to that when I hit the bong because everything changes after that.
Oh, it was
Everything
insane.
changes.
Like, with talking about like the feeling all your faces and stuff.
Yeah.
I felt that really after I felt the bong. Like you probably heard me like just fucking playing with myself. That sound like with like my jaw and like everything. I remember you asking like you're feeling your jaw and I was like, yep, I'm just chilling.
I kept feeling my face.
You can feel like with weed I can feel my face, like the inside of my mouth, but on mushrooms and everything, like you could feel everything, like your outside, every muscle, I guess you could say. I didn't really think about it like that at the time, but I was sus.
I'm going to quickly speed run through the notes. I feel like I'm in an apartment in New York and everyone there can see me. I don't know why I wrote that. I was thinking of I was thinking of a scene from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like a 2001 real life film.
I remember that.
And they're in New York in an
That
apartment.
felt like a fucking fever dream. I couldn't find pictures of that. I searched it up like ages ago, when I was younger, because I thought it was real, but I couldn't find anything on it. And for the longest time, I thought I had like made that up as a kid because I couldn't find anything on it.
Dude, you and me are the like only living beings that know that movie exists. With proof. Yeah, but it felt like I was there.
They've got like the weird heads that look like styrofoam.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I just wanna quickly say something here. I've never seen a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Hell.
I've seen the cartoons, I think,
That's good enough.
like a few episodes.
Yep. Everything feels weird to me. I can't feel my phone. It's so light. I feel floaty like I'm in water. Free of worry and obligation. I don't know why I wrote obligation, but I felt free of worry. Like,
Yeah, I had that as well in the first half
like
as well.
I can forget about everything and
Yeah.
just focus on now and being happy with my friends.
Yeah. It was like that, and then as soon as I hit the thing, it was just constantly thinking about everything else. Like, it all came back.
That is not
All the
epic.
worries came back. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah. So now that I've gone through the notes, I'm going to go through what we went through and kind of talk about
Okay.
just what I was feeling and what we were feeling and
Go for
thinking. So imagine an L couch, an L-shaped couch, right? I'm in the corner of the L, Dage is next to me, and then Cookie is just on a couch on the other side of the room, basically. Adjacent. I was sinking into the couch and I could feel like everything getting lighter, and I'm sinking further into the couch. It was weird. I was having really weird thoughts come to my mind, and I was just saying it. And I know you were too, because we would like walk around, say things. You described the last mushroom as an elephant's butthole, which I found really weird.
Yeah, you like went off, started looking at the mushroom, and I was like, what are you doing? So I went with you, and you were talking about how it looks weird or something. I don't remember what you said
I was
about
saying
it.
it looked weird, like, because how a mushroom looks, when you look inside, you can see all the lines,
Yeah.
like these, like walls, I guess. And I was looking at them like, this looks so weird, dude. They're so dried up. And you're like, elephant's butthole.
Yeah,
And
it looked...
I didn't say it, but I was thinking, this looks like the inside of an ear.
You did say that.
I did?
You told me, yeah.
Holy
We're talking
shit.
about it. We talked about it.
I heard you say that from in here.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so weird.
Yeah, you said that.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was like, before we had taken them, I was like, it kind of looks like elephant skin. I don't know where I got that. It might have been while we were on it. And then I had that in my mind, and then I saw it all like the top of the mushroom or the bottom where the stem is, and I had like a little hole, and I was like, it's a butthole. And I was like, elephant butthole, because it looked like elephant skin.
Yeah.
And you had no idea what I was talking about.
Well, I had an idea, and then I just wanted to question it, so I did.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I found it weird. I'm just like, this is only weird because we are doing the funny mushroom.
True.
I feel like this will be easier. I just sat in the middle between them with the mics, and I can just sort of chill.
kiss now.
True. Patreon exclusive videos on Patreon.
Sneak peek of our full Patreon video.
If we get enough subs, we might start an OnlyFans.
True.
Yeah, so it was that. When I was saying whatever we were talking about, I could visualize it so easy. And something I brought up was people think in different ways. So when you think, do you think in images or words?
Oh, I know this thing. I don't know. I think, like, if I think of an apple, I typically think images.
I think in images as well. Like when I see, if you tell me to imagine something or visualize something, I can visualize it so easy with like good detail and everything. But some people can't, and it's hard for them to do that. And I find that so weird. But everything I would think of and visualize, I would see in front of me, and not like the environment would change or I would see it in the middle of the room. I'm talking like, say you're looking at a computer and you alt tab to a different screen. That's what I would see. Like it was
Just alt tab into a different reality.
yeah, basically I was teleporting to different realities and I would see this stuff. And we were talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know how it came up.
Oh my
But-
god.
This is really good. This is like, it's a good explanation, I guess, of what I was seeing and stuff. But we were talking about Five Nights at Freddy's and how we thought there were 7 games, but Dave corrected us to 8. And like, there's 7 games, so that means there's 1 game for each day. And a day on Earth is a full rotation of the Earth. And then the Earth is in the solar system, and I could see the whole solar system and the planets moving and everything, and it looked beautiful, dude. It looked so cool. And then you're like, there's an 8th day, and I'm like, a leap year. A leap year has an extra day, so
Yeah.
that's when you can play it. It's the only day you can play it. And I was so, like, addicted to the idea that that's when you could play it, and then you were arguing with me about it.
I was so confused of why he thought a leap year had an extra day in a week. Because
Well,
I
it's been
started,
a
I was
month,
like,
and I'm like, it must be in that week.
I was like,
then.
a week starts at Monday and through Sunday. On a leap year, is there just another Sunday? I remember saying that.
Yeah, and I was so sad that you couldn't see what I was seeing. You know,
I remember you seemed really depressed. And I was like, damn, bro.
I was really upset about it.
Yeah, I was supposed to be their trip sitter while I was high off like 4 cones at this point. I remember I was laying down, we were watching Germa, because Grim was like, I really want to watch Germa while on shrooms. I think that'll be a really funny experience. So like, sure, we'll put some Germa Elden Ring on. So we're sitting here watching Germa's like playthrough of Elden Ring, and I'm really like fixated on it because I'm high. And I'm watching it, and these guys like talking in the background, and then I hear Grim going, I can like see the solar system and shit right now because there's 8 Five Nights at Freddy's games. I was like, what are you guys on about? And then they walked out of the room earlier, and they started like giggling to themselves. And Dave's like, it looks like an elephant's butthole. Grim's like, what are you talking about?
That's my like spark of sanity.
You guys were like arguing about what the mushrooms look like while you was high.
Even when we're high, we argue a lot. But to be fair, we only argued like 2 times.
You weren't arguing. You weren't arguing.
It wasn't like an argument. It was just like us. Like, with the elephant butthole, it was just we having 2 thoughts.
Yeah, you were just telling each other your experiences
eventually,
of what you thought it was.
Like, very quickly, we actually came to the conclusion that we have 2 different brains. Yeah. And we can think different things.
Yeah,
what?
Pretty much.
Like, it was like, we had 2 different thoughts on the same thing. And normally when that happens, he is always just out to get me. Like, I'm always wrong every time, normally.
I do it because it's funny. I don't know why, but when you get mad, it's so funny, dude. Like, I hope you know.
I'm glad it's funny, because it's not funny to me half the time.
When I piss you off, I'm not doing it to make you mad. I'm doing it because it's funny. And I think, for some reason, when I do it, I'm like, you think this is funny, so you're playing it up, clearly.
I don't even know half the time. Like, sometimes it's... Right. I don't normally play it up.
When I make you mad, I don't actually mean to make you mad, by the way. So.
You've said that 1,000 times.
If you want me to shut the fuck up, just say, Grim, shut up.
I think I have.
You have, and I usually do.
Shut up.
But then I'll bring it up like 30 minutes later.
Yeah, we'd be like, it's a Dage moment. Grim, shut up. Sorry, my bad. And then Dage like makes like a tiny little mistake. The classic Dage.
I have a lot of stuff to talk about the mushies.
A lot, okay.
But about the Elden Ring stuff, I'm like, bro, I really want to watch Germa on Elden Ring. Germa is such a funny guy. He's gonna make this a vibe. I probably watched like 2 minutes of it in total while we were here.
Yeah.
Germa was a good vibe to just have, but I didn't want to focus all my energy and attention on it. Like, care afterwards. Like, I wanted it off. I wanted to speak to Dage, because we were speaking for like 2 to 3 hours straight about random stuff, and I could see everything. And then after we hit the bong, that's just where things went downhill. Because I was sitting in the couch, like, thinking about things I didn't want to think of, and it's like I had no control over what I was thinking about. It was like a roller coaster I was on. I couldn't stop it. And I'm like, I need to speak to Cookie or Dage right now. We just need to speak about something. I don't care. So I'm like, Dage, can we please speak about something? And I could say that. I did. I swear I said that 2 to 3 times.
No, I do not remember you saying me to speak.
Yeah, I'm like, Dage, can we speak about something, please? And then you either said nothing or you said something and we didn't speak.
I do not remember I do not remember that at all. So I was probably so focused on Germa. Because, like, after we had smoked the bong, we came down, started watching Germa, and I was so fixated on Germa's face. And it also, like, there was a connection. I felt a connection before we had it, of just us 2 talking. And then, like, it was very strong, like, super strong, right? Like a rope, right? You get major rope, and then like you like get like a bunch of like lines of rope, right? You think of a rope. And
yeah, like I tied a noose and Dage had onto it. It's a good.
You know how there's like multiple like strings in a rope?
Yeah. So our connection was really
strong like that.
We were basically reading each other's minds, kind of close,
intertwined.
Yes, that's how I felt with you before we hit.
Yeah, and then we hit, and then like just imagine someone cut that rope, so it's like a little fine line, and that's what was there. And I thought you hated me.
No.
Like, I was sitting there, I was like, damn, like, I was feeling so much, like, negative energy from just, I don't know if it was from you or just the room or just anything.
I remember you saying that, actually.
Yeah, I remember you saying that too.
And I could not look at your face.
Yeah, you said
I could not look at any faces. And that was just constantly being like, I can't look at your face. And I felt like you really wanted me to look at your face when we were talking.
I wanted to talk.
Yeah, when we were talking, you just, like, looked over at me. You sort of, like... From my perspective, it felt like you were death staring at me until I looked back at you.
Because I wanted you to look at me.
I could not look at you. And the one time I did was when we ordered like food and we had to walk out like onto the street to get it.
Yeah, that was a weird thing, even for me.
Dude, for me, that was insane.
Yeah, so Grim ordered some food for us on like Uber Eats, and He was like, the guy, like, we're in this weird spot where you have to like drive in. It's like a hotel kind of thing.
It's like it's a big housing area. So you drive into one property, and on this big property, there's a dozen more houses. There's like 30 houses. We're 31, so there's 40 to 50. There's 40 to 50 houses, right?
I'd say they're more
And-
like apartments than houses. They're not like
Yeah,
big
yeah.
buildings.
They're like
So
small
like,
houses.
yeah, like compact sort of
Yeah.
places.
But it was like that. But the way it is on the map, it doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
It looks like it's next to a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So we had to. We normally don't, but for this one guy, of course, we had to go outside. I'm glad he came though. Like I that experience of going outside was so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. What I want to say as well, I'm gonna hold on to this just in case your arm is sore. Yep.
Come back. No, I'm sorry.
All right. So before and after hitting the bong, there was like a very obvious change in how I was feeling. So before I hit it, I was fine. I was relaxed. I was a little hesitant to hit the bong just because I didn't want it to be super intense experience. I'm like, I want to do this because I want to stay in this mindset. I want to stay and keep this experience I'm experiencing right
Wasn't
now.
it your idea?
Mainly mine.
It was his
Okay,
idea,
okay.
but you guys went first, and then I came in later. And I wish I was there when you guys hit it. I feel like the vibe would be different. But
I don't know.
before
You
I
walked in like desk stage, you like you decided to come in now, huh?
Yeah. I remember sitting there because we were on the bed. You two were on the same. Well, me and Cookie were sitting on opposite sides of the bed, basically. So I was sitting on one side.
Well,
you
like
sitting on the
arms
other.
reach from kissing, you know.
Yeah. And so I hit mine, and then Grim came in, and he sat next to Cookie. I need to I'm so focused on saying your names, right? I cannot think. Anyway, you sat next to him, and then I was sitting there really high, and I felt so disconnected from you guys because I was on the other side of the bed. It was so weird.
I felt disconnected because you guys did it without me. That was really upsetting for me when I was.
I was
on
just really high. I was just
Yeah.
stoned as shit.
I was just like, fuck, I need this.
Yeah.
I thought you were
having
going
a
to come
good
in
time.
sooner as well, so.
I think I was just focused on something in the mirror because we did go to the bathroom, which I'll talk
Yeah,
about.
you
after.
guys it's fucking oh my god.
But before and after, so how I was thinking and what I was seeing, because I was having visuals. Before, I was only having visuals if I kind of focused on it. Like when we were talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, I could really see it, and I was focusing on it. I'm like, this is so real. I could see it in that wall. Like that wall wasn't there, and it was like a window into space.
Oh my god.
It was sick. But before and after, I could kind of control my hallucinations. After, it was constant hallucinations, and I could not control it. Like it was always present, and like reality kept warping and stuff. What were you gonna say before I move on?
Oh, I was gonna say, when we were out there, I was talking about like the faces. Couldn't look at your face. When we were out there waiting for the food, I looked at your face for the first time. I was like in the dark, and I looked at your face, and I hadn't really, well, to my knowledge, I hadn't seen anything. But I'd obviously been looking at Germa, and his face fucking do some wacky shit. But yeah, I looked at his face, and like his eyebrows like opened up, and there was like eyeballs inside of his eyebrows.
Could you draw a?
I could maybe draw one. I don't get that up. So like eyeballs out of the
drawings in as well.
yeah. So like imagine like your eye and then like the eyeball and then just constantly from that diagonal more eyes just constantly open, like not even on your face, just and then like your mouth was doing something. I was focused on your eyes though. Like your mouth was like expanding and I was terrified. So I looked away. I was only looking for like a few
that's
seconds.
horrifying. Oh
It
my
was
God.
terrifying, especially outside in the dark as well. It's pretty wacky.
I remember when we went outside. So, list of events of happened. We take the shroom. 2 to 3 hours later, we hit the bong. Hallucinations are fucking driving me wild. We came back and watched like 8 episodes of Elden Ring Germa, and the entire time I was on my phone trying to order Uber Eats, but I couldn't because like
Oh yeah.
For-
It took you like an hour just to get an order.
to get one thing. And this thing, the reason it was so hard was I was seeing it, and then my phone was like getting squashed sideways like this, and then expanding, and then upwards and downwards, and then the entire screen looked like it was reflected. Like, say you've got a glass, you've got the phone, you've got the light, and then you can see the reflection. So it was like that, and then also mirrored. So it was really hard for me to order, and I had to, after I got my thing, I'm like, you guys have to do this, and I handed it to Cookie.
Yeah.
It was so hard, and then going outside, everything felt so intense, dude. I was like walking on the ground, and I could feel every part of the road, every part of the concrete on my feet. My right foot, I couldn't even feel anything. It felt like I was floating.
Yeah, did you go out in bare feet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Like, I could feel the wind on my arms, and it was so relaxing. It was so nice. And then
Dave's out here saying he sees eyes.
Dude, I was terrified after I hit that bong. I was like so fucked up. Yeah, it was pretty wild. How much? I remember like one episode of Germa playing.
There was like, I think it was at least 3 or 4.
My lord, I do not remember that. And
We had
then
it going, yeah. We let it kept doing the next episodes. We just kept having it autoplay.
Oh, okay. Also, one thing that I only just now remembering that on the trip, like at one point I was kind of trying to trip sit you half the time as well, because I was like I just felt the responsibility to make sure everything was going okay. Like I'm the woman of the trip, right? I've been cleaning up. Like last time I did mostly everything cleaning up, I would say. This trip, fucking the place is a mess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt the responsibility to make sure you were okay, and that didn't help me at all because I was just focused on you and making sure you were okay. I think.
what I wanted was for us to share the experience equally.
Yeah.
If I knew you were trying to trip sit, I would have been like, just feel it.
Yeah.
And
Like, I remember when we had the idea to go up and smoke, and I was like making sure you were ready for it and stuff. I was like trying to like tell you how everything's gonna happen, and I wasn't focused on me at all. And then obviously smoked, was fucked up.
you were very selfless. You should think more.
Yeah, I'm just like that as a person.
I guess me too, but
Yeah.
I was definitely focused on enjoying it because I've been waiting for this, to do this for
I was
ages.
also waiting for it, but I just didn't think about it like that. I was like, I just gotta make sure everyone's okay. And yeah. It's me.
I knew you and I were the most at risk of having something bad happen, so I was focused on having a positive mindset, which was pretty much 90% of the trip, except for when we stopped talking and then when you guys went to bed, which was very wacky for me. One more thing, when we were going outside and moving, that's when like the morphing of reality was happening more. Like I was losing touch of what was reality and what was happening in my mind. So I said this before, my arms, that's when my arms started stretching out and I could feel everything felt weird, or I didn't feel it, or my body was like stretching and shit. It was really weird. And then the world around me was doing that as well. It was weird. It was really crazy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, the only visuals I had, or like anything that wasn't like in my body, just feeling my body, was the Gemma's face. And then like, if I really focused hard enough, like squinted my eyes, I could see like pixels, like an old TV screen. You can see all the pixels,
Yeah.
right? Imagine that, but like your eyes are the screen, and then you can see all the pixels, and then all the pixels like moving and waving around. I've had one other experience with that, with I do not remember the name, but they're like nitrogen canisters that you put in a balloon.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the name. You call them something different to what I do.
Helium.
No, not
balloons?
helium. No.
Nitrogen canisters that you put into.
They're meant for like whipped cream. You put them in a balloon, then you inhale the balloon.
Oh yeah, like the air pumps, sort of thing.
No.
Do you know whippets?
Yeah, whippets.
Okay.
I call them. I blanket on the name of what.
What is a
Me and my
whippet?
friends call them.
It's like stuff from the cream.
It's for whipped cream
Whipped cream.
canisters.
Okay,
right? Like
just
the
like
air,
it's
the
called
pressure.
It's a whipped cream canister.
Yeah, it's called whippets because it's from whipped cream.
Okay.
canisters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm really trying to remember what the name of them I call them.
Just call it whippets and
Okay, whippets. Yeah. So I had a very similar experience with that, which that you put in a balloon, let it cool down a bit because it's very cold. You breathe it in, and then you have like 30 seconds of like a really intense like mind fog, because in theory it like replaces the oxygen in your brain with whatever's in it.
Yeah.
So you don't have oxygen in your brain. And I remember when I took a double hit of that, so 2 canisters in 1 balloon, hit that, just it was like error messages just constantly on my eyes. It's like that, but yeah, with the mushrooms it was way less intense, but I like that.
do you do you want to talk about the experience with the mirrors and going into the bathroom?
Yeah, I remember I was sitting down, still watching Jerma because I was stoned and enjoying Jerma. And then these guys went out, they recorded a video about laughing at the elephant's butthole mushroom. They come back in and were like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm just watching Jerma, how you guys doing? They're like, we're having fun. And then you guys left, went up to the bathroom, and I could hear you like giggling from down here. You're like, dude, it looks so weird.
No,
like,
you
I
put
see it,
on,
I
like,
see it.
You put in the like the video of like levels of high on like mushrooms.
Yeah,
And when the mirror part came up was when we were on the mirror.
Yeah, there was
really
a guy, he does like animated videos type of thing, and he has this one where it's like levels of being high on mushrooms.
Yeah.
And
Look at the thumbnail on the screen, Dage.
yeah, it was like stage 4, the mirror session. Eventually, you're gonna have to go up to the bathroom, and then you like stare at yourself in the mirror, and it's either gonna be really good or really bad.
Yeah.
And so
both
yeah,
really
so you
good
guys,
for us.
yeah, good, really good.
I didn't really like. There was nothing like special about it for me, honestly.
The reason I went up was because I really wanted to feel what water felt like. Because everything felt really weird, and like if I have something cool and wet on me,
I forgot. Go on.
like I wanted something cold and wet. Like I just wanted to feel liquid. Because everything felt weird, and I wanted to know what that new feeling would be. So I tried it, and it was so weird and so nice. It was so relaxing, dude.
Completely forgot that like we like washed our faces with water, and I because you were doing it, and you told me to do it. I was like, I don't really want to do it, and I did it. It was so refreshing.
I know,
It
right?
was I could have sat there for hours and done that.
Me too.
It was nice.
After that, we were washing our faces, then we were looking in the mirror and looking at ourselves. I don't know, but I think my pupils were super dilated, and I could see like bits of the mirror moving around, like wavy. It was really weird, mainly on my face and stuff. I'm like, that's so cool. So yeah,
When I looked in the mirror, I looked at my face. I was like, that's not me. And then I just refused to look at the mirror. Like, I remember saying, he was like, I'm not looking in the mirror. I'm not looking in the mirror. Refusing to look. Because, like, it didn't look like me. And my face was, like, kind of morphing a little bit. But not really.
Yeah.
But yeah. Mirror.
Mirror.
Yeah.
I think that's
You got-
about it. Is that it for the next?
You got it? I was going to say, you got anything else?
Do you have any questions?
I don't know, not really. I guess maybe one question. I guess what was it like after like waking up the next day? Did you feel sort of hungover or anything?
I felt. Well, do you want to go first, Dave? Because I'm gonna go off of when you guys left.
gonna
Can
say, yeah.
finish my like kind of trip, and then when I woke up.
Yeah, so after, I don't know how long after we had smoked, I went to bed. How long would you guys think that was?
You went
Till I went to bed
probably an hour and a half later.
Yeah, I was going to say, I went to bed kind of early.
Yeah, maybe like 6-7 hours worth.
Probably.
A
Something
session?
like that. But I was really tired. Everything was really slow. I was really hot because it was super hot here the first few
Yeah,
days.
the first week was just really warm.
Why was it so hot? Now it's so cold.
I do not know.
That's just how weather's been in Victoria lately. It's been non-stop rain for the past month.
We're in Melbourne, by the way.
Yeah,
We're in Melbourne. Probably should have said that at the start.
I think we did, didn't we?
No.
think we
We spoke about last time we went to Melbourne, so I'm sure you could connect the
Oh
dots.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay, if you just context clues.
Yeah, so I was really tired, and we kept on like switching to like random videos, like RT game videos, and I had no interest in it. Yeah, we put on like RT game and like Smitty and stuff.
Yeah,
You
we
watched
did.
Smitty?
Yeah, we did one of them.
Yeah.
I remember thinking about them. I didn't
I
remember watching.
really hated it. I was like, can we please put something else on? And then I felt like I was offending you by like wanting to change it. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to bed. Went up, slept. Slept pretty nicely. Wasn't anything different really. And then I woke up and I was like, I'm glad this is over. Because it was like the same feeling last time when I greened out. I had like the same feeling of like dread, I guess, while on it, and then after being like, I'm glad that's over, because it's like, as I'm simulation boy, it felt like that, right?
Yeah. Okay, can you
Like
explain that?
when
to
I
me?
was like, as soon as I hit the bong, like I was sitting there on the left side of the bed, you guys were on the right. I was like, this isn't real. Like you guys are, like, it's just random thoughts of like you guys aren't, like none of this is real, and then the loops, like it was like constant deja vu, but nothing was good. It was like all bad. It's like I don't want to be here because it was the same thing.
Okay.
It was really
That's-
weird though.
Your trip started mostly positive and it ended really negative.
Yeah.
So
Well. Yeah. Like I had a good time.
that's good.
Yeah.
when we do it next time, we'll have to remember the things we didn't like and change that.
Yeah. Like, if I wanted to do it next time, I would take a lot more mushrooms and then not smoke. That's probably what I would do.
Okay.
Maybe like double the mushrooms.
Double the mushrooms we had
So, like,
would be good, I think.
Yeah.
Like a full mushroom each this time.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I forgot what I was going to say. I'm probably going to go off for a bit here because...
Alright, so while Dave's gone, I guess we can explain the simulation boy joke.
Yes, alright, because he brought that out and like,
Yeah.
explain that, and then he didn't.
Yeah, so Dave's gone for a bathroom break, and we're just going to give you some context a little bit. He said, so there's this thing, there's like this theory that, you know, we live in a simulation, like, you know, it's no new theory, there's the whole Matrix about it and everything.
Yeah, we're like 1,000 years in the future where we're all just AI or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, that doesn't make sense to me. How do we feel stuff? How do you program emotion and feeling and free will and
Well, that's the
stuff?
thing, that's what they've figured out.
Well, that's still weird.
Okay.
I can't believe it. I can't wrap my brain around that. It's not true. There's no way.
So basically, the point is we live in a simulation, and so Dake, he doesn't believe it, but he's not like against it either.
He's like, it could be possible.
It could be. I mean, it could be.
I don't think it is.
It could be possible.
0%.
There's the
0%
chance. There's the thing that it could be possible.
0% chance.
And so Grimm just really latched onto the idea that Dake believes this, and so he's got this whole. Every time Dake says anything, Grimm will just counter argument with it. Okay, simulation boy.
It's so funny.
And so I guess that really runs into his whole like his high last night where he said that he thought we weren't real.
Yeah.
It was just like some simulation here for him, some stimuli that he's
Yeah.
living through.
Dude, having weed has been like really weird. Like it's different from last time,
Yeah, definitely. 'Cause we're
completely different.
doing a lot
highs.
more.
and I feel different.
Different place that always has an effect.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. I
Like
guess.
like doing it in my room, I sit in my chair and I'll usually put on like Twitch or YouTube and I'll just watch that and I'll this is really weird thing I do when I'm high where I think that I'm coughing. Like did I ever cough really loudly?
You were clearing your throat, and so was I. I know we
Yeah, it's
cleared
like
our throats a lot.
It's just normal things like that, but there's just always this really I always felt like I was coughing really loudly and it was like so I do this weird kind of like loop with myself where it'd be like, okay, I think I just coughed, so now I just have to focus on not coughing, and then it'd be like 10 minutes and I'd be like, okay, so I think I just coughed, you know, I have to focus on not coughing, and so I would never know if I've actually coughed or not because I'd be so focused on not doing it that I thought that I'd already done it.
Do you do that in Discord calls? Because you get high sometimes when we play games.
Yeah, sometime. Oh, not really, not really, but definitely like throughout the week I have thought I was coughing really loudly.
Okay.
But I guess, yeah, no, I guess it's not. I guess it's just this weird feeling in the back of my throat that it makes me think I have been coughing.
Yeah.
And so now I want to hear about your bedtime journey.
I was gonna say,
Wait.
what were you guys talking about when I left?
I was just explaining the simulation boy joke.
And then we started talking about weed.
Yeah.
Where do I start? All right, I guess I should start when you guys have left. So I'll start when Dave.
I left, because I was
So I said this before, but I really needed to speak to Dage, like just have that connection back because I felt it go away.
a lot for me as well.
Yeah, so if we're gonna do next time we do mushrooms, whoever's doing it with each other, they have to stay in the same room at all times, basically, unless they're shitting.
Needs to like
Not be super high.
Yeah,
Not
it's fair
be
enough,
high.
honestly.
I mean, you can have.
Because like you guys were probably like sitting back here and you were like, holy
Yeah, I
shit,
was
what is going on? I was just sitting here watching Jerma.
Yeah, like if you're gonna get high, don't have as much as you did, maybe. But like you did pretty good. But maybe towards the end, it would have been nicer if you weren't. But it's fine. It's fine. But so I really needed to just speak, and then Dage's like, I'm going to bed. And I'm like, I didn't say it, but I'm like, oh, please don't go, Dage. Please don't go.
If you said that, I probably would have stayed.
Damn, I wish I did.
I would do anything you say.
Anything?
Anything.
That's what anything is.
So Dage went to bed. I'm like, fuck. And then I'm like, I didn't feel scared to talk to you. I kind of just forgot you were real.
What?
Yeah, he does that sometimes too, don't I?
I felt like you
in a simulation.
had just disappeared, I guess. Simulation boy.
Simulation boy.
It's not like nothing's real.
Anyways,
It's possible. I mean,
True.
It's possible.
We
Like,
could
I'm still
be-
living my life to the fullest. It's not like it's like tying me back or anything. It's just like, okay, probably.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So Dage went to bed. Cookie disappeared, and then he later went to bed, but it pretty much made no difference. I was pretty much what it felt like was I was watching my current POV through a screen, and the image was repeating infinitely forwards. So you know how when you look at a vaporwave video, like a music video, you've got like the lines on the floor that are like coming towards you, and that repeats forever. That's what life was like. It wasn't the vaporwave lines, but the lines of everything. So I would see my hand, and I'd see a smaller hand in that, and one in that, and one in that, and one in that, and it would just keep coming at me, and I felt it.
Coming at you?
Shut the fuck up. And then, because I was seeing that, and I was trying to focus on not seeing that, so I laid back, and then I just couldn't move my body. I was locked in position, could not move, and I was like a prisoner. It feels really weird to say, but I was like stuck in position, forced to think about things. And like, man, I really wish I was not thinking about this or not seeing this stuff. It was like to my internal self, I was like having a conversation, and it's like, you can't leave until you think about these things and fix these things. It was really weird.
Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember what kind of things it was?
I do, but I don't want to talk about it.
It's fair enough. Okay.
I remember you were asking you when we like first came down. You were like, "I'm seeing things. I'm seeing like my dreams or something," and I was like, I was so like weird to talk about it because I like my first thought was you were seeing like stuff that you don't want to talk about, obviously.
That was more towards the end.
Because like at the start, I was like, when we first came down, I was like, "Oh, you're thinking about that," and I was like, "Okay, I don't really want to talk about that," or like, I don't know what to do with that and stuff. So I was like, okay, and that's probably what I guess in my head like killed the vibe. I guess that started it off.
Yeah. So it was that, and then I came to a conclusion with my inner self. Like, I had transcended, you know?
Okay.
It was like, that's the only word I can think of, but like, everything in my life was completed, and I could die at that moment, I'd be probably happy.
No.
Would you be happy now?
No.
So it was all for nothing.
No.
so that whole internal conversation
No.
was just a waste.
I definitely feel changed after it. Like, I've been thinking about things differently and have a different outlook on how things are right now. And I'm glad I had the trip, and I'm glad I had that internal dialogue with myself. It was like I was speaking to someone else. It's not like
I wish I had that.
when you thinking like,
Try that.
do you have an internal dialogue? Do you guys have internal dialogues?
Sometimes, I guess, sort of only if I kind of think about it.
Thinking about right now.
Right. Well, it was like that.
But
But-
you was separate to your speaking.
A separate being speaking to
Yeah.
me. Like, it was really weird, but I'm glad I had it. I feel different after it. After that is like, you can do whatever now, and just things felt good, and then I just fell asleep on the couch.
Okay.
But if I had a bedroom, or if I was able to like move my body to play music, things would have been so better.
I got one thing to say.
Yeah.
if you don't want to. With like the talking to yourself thing, when I like coming into like trying mushrooms, I kind of wanted something more like that, like something,
What I got?
I guess so, something like supernatural or like life changing. I kind of wanted that, and that didn't happen for me, which is an L. But like I would like that to happen because I do need to fucking fix everything.
So, don't be disappointed by it, because when it happens, or if it happens, it's not only weird, but it's really heavy. It is very heavy when you're thinking about it and talking about it. Like, I am not the same person I was before, and that's really weird to think about. The only advice I can give you if you want that is have more, chew longer. So if you really hate the taste, have it with like gum or something. Just something to like override that taste. And when you want it, just have us leave the room, get us to play some music that's something nice or something that fits the vibe you want, and then you just got to lay down and start thinking about it, and then you'll get locked into it.
Okay.
Like I was trying to think of positive things, but those positive things were linked to the negative things, and that's when my inner self, my conscience or whatever, came and started to speak to me. But I feel this. It sounds like cringe to say, but it was life changing in a way. Like
Yeah, they said that in the getting high stages thing as well, where there was sometimes you'd have that thing where you'd kind of debate with yourself, and then the final stage was like the day after, where like you feel better about yourself, and you like that sort of feeling lasts for like 6 months or whatever he said. It was like a month or 3 months or whatever. Yeah, it depends on the person, I guess. Yeah, and the experience definitely. Yeah, but there's also that thing. I can't remember what it was, but something that I remember sort of that sort of gets you like, you know, drug like or whatever. Is that before you do it, you're supposed to kind of agree with yourself that you're gonna have that experience. So I think that could probably help. You know, if you're sitting there chewing the mushrooms, you sort of think to yourself, "This is gonna be a good trip. I reckon some nice shit's gonna happen," and then that will, like, you know, you kind of convince yourself that that's the truth and that's what will happen.
Yeah.
do we want to think about what we were thinking before we tried it? Because I know I was feeling some intense emotions before trying it and during the chewing, but then after the chewing and before the high, I was in a really positive mindset.
Talk about it.
So I talked to Dage about it, but pretty much from when I first saw the mushrooms to when I had it in my hand, I was really anxious about it. I was not looking forward to it. I'm like, this is a bad idea. It's going to be a bad time. And then I'm like, I just got to get through this. Dage's going to do this with me, and I'll be able to relax because I'm in this ride with him. Like, Dage is my best friend, so...
Fuck you.
I'm like sitting in the middle, like, oh man.
I'm sorry, Alex, I still love you.
Patreon exclusive. Patreon.
I forgot the camera wasn't there, so... Anyways, I was super anxious beforehand, and then seeing Dage and I just doing it together, like, I was really happy that I was just doing this and having this experience with him, because I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but your drug experience haven't been mostly positive. There's been mostly negative.
I would say so.
And I wanted to have a good time, and I wanted to have a good time with you.
I said that they're not anything negative. They're just maybe not what you expected.
No, I also had some, like, what's it, like, there was a point probably last year where I was like relying on weed. Like,
yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
And I was like, you need to like cut it down, dude.
Yeah.
remember having that conversation.
Because like I had a lot. I had a lot. Like I got like 11 grams. I think me and my brother had 7 grams each. So whatever the fuck that is. No.
14.
We had like 10 to 15 grams, and we split that between us two. And he had never smoked before, so like, that was his. He was gonna use that for whatever. I went through mine 5 months, probably 5-6 months, and then I didn't have any for a bit, and then that was a really bad spot for me, like just in my life. Obviously, a lot of stuff happens, and then he hadn't had like any of it. He had like one hit, and then he just didn't want to try it. So I kind of scammed him and I stole it.
What do you mean scammed him?
Well, because he was like, my parents were hiding it for him, like in their house, so they knew about it. And then I spoke to her about it, my mom, and I was like, he's not gonna have any of it, so can I have it? And she's like, sure. And she just gave it to me.
Okay.
And I didn't tell him until like I had used half of it.
Okay.
But he was fine with it because he doesn't do that shit.
Good thing he was fine with it.
Yeah. I had some of it with him at least. I was like, I'll make up for it.
It's reasonable. Yeah, if he doesn't want it, then I guess
Yeah.
you're not really stealing.
Yeah. And like I remember there was a point where the night before I got it, like I was in bed, I was like, if I go to that house, because I had to go to the other house to get it, if I go there and I can't get it, end of story for Dage. Let's put it like that.
Damn.
Like that was in my mind. And then I got it and I was like, thank the Lord. And then for like, I guess after a few weeks that faded away. And I was just really high all the time. And at that point, I smoked that in like 2 months. Because I was just constantly like, I wake up, hit it, lunch, hit it, you know, before every meal. And that's probably not good.
Yeah, I have my friend, the one that I like talk about all the time, that I've been friends with since kindergarten.
Yeah.
He had a really rough patch like that, where he
Yeah.
was doing everything he could get his hands on, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was even at the point where he was stealing from his dad to
Oh, wow.
sell and buy more weed and shit like that. He's better now, which is good, but he still does it. But since he's better, I'm not really like against him doing it, I guess. And yeah, he's like living with his dad again. He's got a lot of his shit solved, and so it's a better experience for him, I guess. But there was certainly a big time where he was kind of like that, where it's like if he couldn't do it, he didn't want to sort of fuck around with anything else. Yeah.
I'm glad you were able to get out of that. Before I go any further, do you want to leave that in?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, just making sure.
I wouldn't have said it.
Fair enough. Like, just because you are editing, you could remove it if you were. But, that is a bad cycle to get into, and it's probably a pretty hard cycle to get out of. So,
I mean, I could show you some of the stuff. Like, when I left my job, like a few months ago, I had like a few grams left that I was like savoring, and I went through that pretty quickly. Because when I left Domino's this year, I had like some left, and I remember I was smoking it a lot. And you were like, slow down, it's gonna last you. Didn't last me long enough. So before this trip, I was sober for like 2 months, which is weird.
I'm glad you're good though. I'm glad we're hanging out right now, and that when you go home, if you get your hands on weed or drugs or whatever, just take it slow and try not to get back into that cycle of relying on it, because it's pretty much giving yourself a timer, and I hate that. And I'm just glad you're here. I'm just glad you're good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like this whole trip would be half as fun without you. Real. I mean, like,
that would be so.
who the hell would Grim be fighting with the whole time?
You would be saying Among Us all
I was
the
about to
time.
say that. Grim and you have gone back saying Among Us for like a solid hour. I swear to God. Like, that's not even throughout the whole trip. That's one time. You guys sat here for a straight hour to saying Among Us.
100%.
Throughout the whole trip, you've probably racked up 10 hours of just saying Among Us. Like, if you started the recording at and then ended it at 10 hours worth would be
10-hour podcast.
10-hour podcast. Just amongst. Jesus Christ.
Like, at this point, where we are now, I couldn't imagine my life without either of you guys. You guys are my best friends.
I could.
Alright.
See, God, I can't wait to get rid of this dead weight. No, but definitely
No, I
though,
agree.
like for real, like why else would I be playing Dead by Dare at like 3-4 in the morning, and then I just happened to meet you guys, and now I do it on
It must feel
purpose.
so weird for you. Like you've known us for like less than a year.
Yeah, 8 months. 8 months.
You've known
yeah.
us for like a few months when we met up the first time. It was so weird.
I remember Dage was going to go to a concert. The first time we even met up was because Dage was going to go to a concert. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I have money. We should just meet up, dude.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, there's only going to be 2 of us. Would that be maybe weird?
Did you even go to that concert? What was the concert?
Oh, so my brother wanted to go to a concert, and then because it wasn't coming to Adelaide, but then like it got announced that it was coming to Adelaide, like a few weeks after I'd already talked to like a bunch of people on Discord about it. And I was going over, so I was like, well, I'll just go, because I had just started my job, and I was like, I can save up enough. It'll be relatively cheap. So yeah, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. Didn't do the concert. It wasn't even my thing. It was like dubstep shit. And I was like, I'm not into that. But I would have gone just to be in Melbourne near people. So
You say you're an introvert, but you like being in social areas and stuff.
it's so weird because I've thought about it, and like it's like both. It really depends on the day, but I definitely need my like alone time to like recharge, I guess. But it's also not a good thing.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed tripping while sitting. You know.
Tripping while sitting, and as I like to say, bipping the sipping. I don't know what the fuck that means. But you just listen, probably. Yeah, we listen to us talk about drugs. Don't report us to the police, guys. Really hope you don't.
Oh yeah.
Look, this is all alleged.
Yep. This is all alleged. This is not applicable in court.
This is not an admission of guilt. I am Walter Hartwell White.
I'm Walter Harway White, and this is not an admission of guilt.
This is not an admission of guilt or taking drugs. This is all alleged. These are all.
This is the
fantasies.
most scuffed outro. I think we have to reset this one.
No, it's
'Cause
fine.
this is
that works. That
Okay,
works.
you're gonna cut.
fits
Okay.
in with who we are. Yeah.
Remember to be safe. If you're doing it for the first time, don't do it by yourself. Make sure that you've got someone you can trust with you. And yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much.
don't do what we did and have Cookie trips at us. It was terrible.
Oh, I was not that bad.
Nah, he's a real homie.
If you want a trip, do it in a good environment with good people you like. Have a designated trip sitter. And remember, we actually did not get high at all. We did not do any drugs.
Did not.
If this
Did not.
this is not an admission of guilt, this is all just fantasy, and we did not
We
do
made it up for
drugs.
clout.
We did, yeah.
Yep.
So if you're in court, if we are in court, either of us, just play this. This is like an admission of not guilt.
Not guilt.
This is not guilty.
Not guilty.
Yana, make sure to subscribe to twitch.tv/Grim1317
Yeah.
and twitch.tv/Dage0G.
Yeah.
Pog. He pogged.
All right. We'll probably make a Patreon. We'll see you there.